Before we move on to look at illustrative examples, there are a number of things to remember about social media. And I would ask you to just take your time to reflect on these, because these are, as far as we're concerned, the key things that we need to take account of in social media. First of all, it's social media, and it's called social because it's social. Social media is about online democracy. It's about content being provided by the network for the network. And the most obvious example that you'll all be familiar with of that is TripAdvisor, where the content is developed by the network for the network. The second point, social media represents a massive power shift. It's a massive power shift from supplier to customer. Many of us would hope that that is not happening, but the reality is it is happening. And success will go to those companies and organizations that recognize that power shift and do something about it. Social media reflects the declining effectiveness of traditional approaches to sales and marketing, which can be summarized very quickly and at the risk of exaggeration in this cartoon. The traditional way of selling is to shout at our customers to buy our stuff. But as you can see, no one is listening anymore. The response of a lot of companies is to shout even louder. But as you can see, not only is no one listening anymore, but customers are also talking to other customers. They're making reviews and recommendations. And that customer-to-customer marketing is becoming vitally important in the global tourism and travel industry. Other things to remember, in social media, the customer decides what information they want to access. A new mindset is required, a mindset where marketing is seen as a conversation with our customers, where marketing is seen as a two-way dialogue with our customers rather than broadcasting sales messages. The winners in a social media environment will be those who engage with and energize their customer base. Most traditional marketing people don't understand the concept of marketing as a conversation. They don't understand channels which require two-way interaction with their customers. And that is best seen in the context of sending out email newsletters, where many organizations send out an email newsletter with a don't reply function. In other words, it's okay for that organization to broadcast sales messages to us, but it's not okay for us to contact them. New performance measures. In the second presentation, my colleague Alan will talk a little bit more about the performance measures that are required and the way in which social media monitoring tools can be used to monitor performance in terms of the 4 I's: involvement, interaction, intimacy, and influence. So let me just leave that for the moment because Alan will cover that in more detail. Another very important part of social media is it does require new performance measures relating to the quality of your network and the strength of the relationship with your network. And I'll just leave that just now because my colleague Alan in presentation 2 will talk about the type of performance measures that we need to look at and the way in which social media monitoring tools can be used to assess our online performance. I would like to conclude this short introduction and overview to social media by just presenting 2 very quick examples of social media in practice in the tourism and hospitality industry. The first one is one that you'll all be aware of and one that will be a major issue for a lot of you in terms of how to respond to TripAdvisor comments. And the example I'd like to share with you is the Affinia hotels in the United States. And what we're looking at now is the main Affinia hotel website. And in many respects, it just looks like any other hotel website where there's a nice picture, there's dates, and you check room availability and so on. But once you go further into the website, something interesting happens. You begin to see TripAdvisor comments about the hotel. We are not on TripAdvisor. We are still on the hotel's website. The hotel embeds TripAdvisor comments into its own website. The hotel cannot moderate or control those comments. The majority of comments on the screen are very positive comments. There are one or two negative ones. The top one is a negative one, where a lady booked the room with her daughter, the hotel was overbooked, etc. But what is interesting is that the management of that hotel take the time to monitor what's been said about them on TripAdvisor and to respond where appropriate. And basically this management response is saying, thank you for your comment. We at the Affinia pride ourselves on the level of customer service we provide. On this occasion, not only have we let you down, we've let ourselves down, and if you would like to discuss this further, then please contact us direct. And that has the advantage or the benefit of taking that discussion offline if the customer wants to continue it further. It also, I think, sends a very, very strong message to people who review these comments on TripAdvisor in terms of how customer-focused this hotel is. The second and final example is of a Glasgow-based restaurant, Cafe Gandolfi, where we have recently set up a Facebook group for Cafe Gandolfi. It's a very well-known restaurant in the Merchant City part of Glasgow. The Facebook site has only been live for a few weeks, and it's already attracted more than 500 fans. But what is more interesting, more significant about the Facebook page of Cafe Gandolfi is the sentiment that's being expressed by the fans of that Facebook group, or the fans of Cafe Gandolfi, who are quite happy to go onto the Facebook site and post very favourable comments about their experience and how pleasant their meal has been and so on. And there's a real kind of buzz and warm feeling about this Facebook group that reflects not only the character of the restaurant itself, but also the personality of the owner of that restaurant, Seamus McInnes. Okay, I'd like to finish this short presentation just by reading out very quickly a few lines from a song by Bob Dylan from the 1960s. Come gather round people wherever you roam. Social media is truly global. And don't criticise what you can't understand. There's a lot of people criticise social media, but they don't really understand what it's about. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Replace sons and daughters with customers. Your customers are beyond your command. Social media shifts the power to the customer. Your old road is rapidly aging. The old ways of doing things are declining in effectiveness. People don't listen to sales messages anymore. And we all better start swimming or we'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Thank you, and we hope to see you on tourism20.co.uk.